been a little giddy about this because Big Bad Zelle has hurt so many people, it looks like in the millions at this point, who have had money stolen from their bank accounts. And the banks that created the Zelle zombie monster have kind of looked the other way and said, oh, well, that's too bad there's all this theft going on. We're not doing anything about it. And a constant barrage of TV stories locally in every TV market in the country. Every single day, there are more stories that air about how awful Zelle is and how much it's hurt people with money being stolen from their accounts. The banks that own Zelle finally are like, the U.S. Senate had hearings that made the banks look really bad about Zelle. They're like, okay, this really isn't working, and this is a PR disaster. So there are multiple reports in the financial press that Zelle is testing a new system of consumer protections to launch in just the next several weeks. And there's just a movement that looks like it's a rugby scrum because Zelle is owned by a bunch of banks, and trying to get them all to agree on the same thing is not easy. But under the rules, what's going to happen is that if you meet the new Zelle fraud guidelines and money's been stolen from your account, the bank that you use will grab the money from the bank the money went to, and so they won't lose any money, so they'll be happy to give you your money back. But the circumstances the banks are testing, and there's a test going on right now, when you'll get a refund for Zelle fraud activity is still going to be a very, very narrow set of circumstances. And it just means that the ball has moved a little down the court. The key thing for you to know is that Zelle is rife with fraud. Criminals have been able to exploit it, steal your money, and everybody looks the other way about your money being gone. I'd still say the best answer is don't use Zelle, because it is not thought out in a way and does not offer federal protections that other methods of paying for things does. Nothing beats credit cards for paying a bill in terms of the fraud protections for you that exist with a credit card. Nothing else comes close. And using the payment apps like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle, any of them, the problem with all of them is there's no code written that clearly specifies the protections for you as a consumer. What you need to know, your bank or credit union may have put Zelle active on your checking account without telling you. You need to check, sign in with your app on your phone or sign into the website of your bank or credit union. And if Zelle is active on your account, if there's a button you can click to make it inactive, do so. Only when you're making a payment to someone you know and trust would you ever want to make it active. But the best answer is just say no to Zelle, because it is not safe and accounts for really probably 95% of the TV stories around the country are about Zelle, not Cash App or Venmo, because the criminals have been able so easily to exploit the lack of fraud protections that Zelle has built into its architecture. It's not that you have more legal protections with Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. It's just the criminals have focused their energies on stealing your money through Zelle because the bank structure made it so easy for the criminals to steal that way. But this is a step in the right direction. And what's weird, I predicted the future on this. We're going to hear later this podcast where I was wrong on a prediction about the future. But in this case, I was right. Because I said months ago, probably back in the summer, I think is when I said it, that the banks are such lumbering, stupid giants that they were going to go on month after month after month with enormous reputational harm and harm to their customers before they got around to fixing problems with Zelle. And this is just the first step rolling out very soon.